Boat carrying over 200 passengers capsizes in Niger, 8 bodies recovered. 80.2 billion fraud case, Yahya Bello's arraignment stalled as lawyer fails to appear. NNPC clarifies Old Port Harcourt refinery operating at 90%, not 70%. And on the foreign scene, crane collapses in Thailand, leaves 3 dead, 10 injured. Hello, and welcome to Trust TV News Update. My name is Hawa Gambo. A devastating boat accident was reported on Friday morning along the Dambo-Ebuchi stations of River Niger, resulting in the loss of multiple lives. According to eyewitnesses, the boat, which belonged to one Musa Dangana, was carrying over 200 passengers, including market women and farm laborers en route to the Kacha weekly market. The boat tragically capsized, throwing all on board into the water. Rescue efforts were currently underway, with local divers working to recover the bodies of the victims as at press time. Latest reports say 8 bodies have been recovered, while search and rescue operations continue to locate the remaining passengers. Preliminary reports indicate that none of the passengers was wearing life jackets at the time of the accident, which may have contributed to the high number of casualties. Meanwhile, authorities have yet to release an official statement on the incident, but an investigation is expected to be launched to determine the cause of the accident. Amnesty International, an international non-governmental organization focused on human rights, on Thursday presented documents to journalists detailing the events that unfolded during the August 1st hunger protest in Nigeria. The document, compiled after extensive investigations, detailed the impact of excessive force used by authorities on protesters against the rising cost of living. Trust TV, Abdul Aziz Ibrahim reports.
Between August 1 and 10, Nigerians across several states and the FCT took to the streets to protest the high cost of living. In a report released after the protest, Amnesty International described response of authorities to the protest as desperate and punitive. Over 1,200 protesters were reportedly detained, and more than 146 individuals, including minors, were charged with treasonable felony. However, after the protest, the Nigeria police force denied allegations of excessive use of force and dismissed calls for an investigation.
Eyewitnesses told Amnesty International in Kano, Dutse, Katsina, and Mina that the protests were largely peaceful when they began in the morning of 1st August. But the mood abruptly changed when police attacked the protesters by firing live ammunition and tear gas. Excessive use of force by the police against the protesters contravenes international human rights standards and including the UN basic principles on the use of force and firearms by law enforcement agents. And every law enforcement agency in the world know that that standard exists, and they are not supposed to use that kind of excessive force on ordinary people.
Amnesty International explained that their findings are based on investigations carried out from August 12th to the 17th in 6 states of Kano, Katsina, Jigawa, Kaduna, Borno, and Niger.
It's a fair distribution in terms of data collection that has resulted in the production of this document.
The report revealed that 24 protesters in these states lost their lives, particularly in the Rigiar Lemo area of Kano.
What we are demanding today is for the government to make sure that all those responsible of these killings are brought to justice. We are asking that the Nigerian police and other security agencies, they have to fish out those people who are responsible for the killings in Kano, Katsina, and other places. They have to fish them out and bring them to justice. And we will never stop making this demand until those killers are identified and brought to justice, and appropriate compensation is given to the families of the victims.
As Amnesty International presses for action, families of victims and survivors are hopeful that their voices will not go unheard. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News.
The Borno State government has reiterated its commitment to support survivors and victims of insurgency with healthcare, psychosocial and economic empowerment. The Commissioner for Women Affairs, Zuwaira Gambo, disclosed this at a high-level policy dialogue event between government officials and traditional rulers on meeting the demands of survivors, victims and de-radicalized women in Borno State. The report.
The high-level policy dialogue meeting with government officials and traditional chiefs is to solicit for support and intervention for survivors and victims of insurgency, which include de-radicalized women and children who experienced stigmatization and were left out in programs and interventions of other stakeholders. This will strengthen capacities for transitional justice and reconciliation objectives of the state government. The Borno State Commissioner of Women Affairs, Zuwaira Gambo, said Governor Zulum is committed to implementing the Charter of Demands raised and also ensure psychosocial support and economic empowerment for victims.
The Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, Ministry of Justice, Local Government and Emirate Affairs, Information and Internal Security, and other departments and agencies will indeed work tirelessly to ensure, one, prioritize survivors' needs. In doing this, we will ensure access to psychosocial support, healthcare, and economic empowerment programs tailored to survivors' unique challenges. Already we have initiated this intervention. Promote justice and accountability, where we advocate for the rights of victims and survivors by facilitating access to justice and addressing impunity.
The members of the State House of Assembly are here so that we give them the issue practically bring out the issue at hand, the concerns of the community, what the community members want, so that they can now bring it their widow's might. In this respect, you have seen where, in fact, everybody is determined to contribute. It's no longer about leaving things to government. Government has done a lot.
And second issue, I'm appealing to the government, let them create a skill acquisition center to those people after when they separate them to do meetings, like doing many things to mind their side. They cannot think what they did in bush in the local communities. And the third issue is that let them design a platform for the women, because most of the children and women, they are the ones suffering in the bush. Now you see, if you see a lady, even somebody want to marry him, or they say, no, these ex-Boko Haram daughters, they cannot accept it. You see them, they're very beautiful and doing their normal business, but if you want to approach them, they'll say, no, this is father is a Boko Haram ex-member.
It is expected that observations by stakeholders at the meeting will be included in programs as expected. Beatrice Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
The governor of Borno State, Bagana Zulum, has stated that they will unite lawmakers from northern Nigeria to oppose the tax reform law that President Tinubu is pushing to have quickly approved. Zulum said the law will devastate the northern region of the country while boosting the economy of Lagos State. In an interview with the BBC, the governor stated that it is not right for the government to push lawmakers to hasten their approval of the bill. Zulum joined his northern counterparts and other opponents from the region who have insisted that this proposal was created solely to benefit Lagos. He also mentioned that even in southern Nigeria, regions like the South-South, Southeast and Southwest are not happy with the law either. The governor also expressed concern that if the proposal becomes law, the hunger, poverty and hardship will increase in the society. Since President Tinubu presented this proposal, there has been continuous debate amongst various groups, including prominent politicians and governors, about how it might negatively affect the North. The arraignment of former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, at the Federal High Court, Abuja, has been stalled due to the absence of his lawyers in court. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had brought the former governor for arraignment on a 19-count charge of money laundering to the tune of 80.2 billion naira. At the day's proceedings, counsel to the EFCC, Kenny Finero, had moved on application for the charge to be read to the defendant and his plea taken. Bello, who addressed the court himself, told Justice Emeka Nwite that he was notified of the arraignment in the late hours of 28 November, and as such, he could not inform his lawyers. In a short ruling, Justice Nwite held that it would be in the interest of justice for Bello's counsel to be present. He who added that the warrant for his arrest cannot be sacrificed on the altar of breach of fair hearing, so noted that counsel to Bello should be put on notice and adjourn the case to 13 December for hearing on abridgment of time and possible arraignment. The Federal Ministry of Transport has officially handed over the completed Port Harcourt-Aba section of the Eastern Narrow Gauge Railway project to the Nigerian Railway Corporation. The contractor, China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation CCECC, Nigeria Limited, handed over the project to the Federal Ministry of Transport at an event in Port Harcourt, River State on Thursday. Project Supervisor, Federal Ministry of Transport, Ayo Dada, who received the completed asset on behalf of the federal government and officially handed over to the Railway Corporation, said the assets included the dismantled tracks, rehabilitation and reconstruction of subgrade 62,800 kilometers, and rehabilitation and construction of the 27 sets of the turnouts at Port Harcourt Station, Elelenwo Station, Ubozo Station, Umogo and Aba stations, among others. Dada disclosed that operations had since commenced on the rail lines, which according to him will boost the economy of Rivers and Abia states, adding that the project will get to Maiduguri in no time. On his part, Deputy Director, Track and Civil, Nigerian Railway Corporation's Ogunade Adeshegun, who represented the Managing Director of NRC, Ben Iloanusi, hailed the completion of the project. He said the development is a testament to the government's effort to provide efficient transportation systems, adding that the dividends of these efforts are now materializing for the benefit of Nigerians. The federal government has launched 15 CNG-powered buses as part of the President Bola Tinubu renewed Hope Clean Energy Transport Scheme, a strategic initiative designed to ease the burden of fuel subsidy removal on Nigerians. The Minister of Transportation said Ahmed Al-Ali during the handover to National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, RTEAN, and National Association Road Transport Owners, NATO, in Abuja on Thursday, said the move is to access cleaner, more affordable energy solutions that reduce transport costs for operators and commuters alike. He said the buses symbolizes the government's commitment to empowering citizens while transitioning to a cleaner energy economy. He assured that the ministry will ensure effective sensitization of the transport owners, operators, passengers, and the public to make initiative accessible to Nigerians.
For far too long, as a people and as a nation, we have talked about the possibilities of using gas to drive our national economy. Here today, we've moved from talking to doing. Mr. President, having considered the pain and suffering of ordinary Nigerians, decided that we were going to utilize the resources that we have across our country, below our feet, and even more importantly, above our necks, our abilities, our intelligence, to harness gas that we hitherto had wasted and commit it to driving our nation cheaply, cleaner, and safer. And that is why we're here today at the commissioning and the handover by the Ministry of Transportation, working with all partners, including the Ministry of Gas and the BCNGI, as well as the Ministry of Finance, to hand over these high-capacity buses for utilization in the Federal Capital Territory.
Let me begin by expressing profound gratitude to His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, whose visionary leadership has articulated in the renewed hope agenda brought us to this moment. Today's event is not just about launching of CNG buses and their handing over to the leadership of operating unions. It is also about creating a new path that prioritizes innovation, sustainability, and most importantly, the well-being of every Nigerian.
The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has been reappointed as the head of the WTO. The World Trade Body hinged her leadership on breaking logjams at the Celoric institution through craft, dynamism, and sheer force of personality. The 70-year-old bank veteran and trailblazer was Nigeria's first woman finance minister and is the first woman and the first African to run the WTO. With her no-nonsense style and disdain for red tape, she positioned herself as someone who could bang heads together and get business done. Okonjo-Iweala has pulled off some breakthroughs at the Global Trade Body, notably sealing a long-stalled deal on curbing subsidies for harmful fishing practices. But now, she must steer the WTO through the U.S. presidency of Donald Trump, who paralyzed the organization in his first term and opposed her initial candidacy for the leadership. This is the news update on Trust TV. We will be right with you after the break. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Boat carrying over 200 passengers capsizes in Niger, 2 bodies recovered. And 80.2 billion naira fraud case, Yahaya Bello's arraignment stalled as lawyer fails to appear. Moving to the stories. Blacksmiths in Gombe State have decried the lack of modern tools and equipment which have significantly hindered their productivity and competitiveness. They are therefore calling on the state government to step in and support them with the resources needed to modernize their craft. The report.
Blacksmithing, an age-old craft, has over time been one of the thriving industries in Gombe State, producing tools, farming implements, and other essential items. But in today's fast-paced world, these artisans are struggling to keep up due to a lack of access to modern technology. We are facing numerous challenges. Our blacksmiths are among the best, and we receive orders from different parts of the country. However, lack of modern machines is our greatest challenge because we cannot fulfill some orders without them. If we have modern machines, we can compete with imported goods and even create more job opportunities for young people. The government needs to see this as an investment in the local economy. The blacksmiths say their current methods not only slow them down, but also limit their ability to meet the growing demand for their products. They are appealing to the state government to support them by providing access to modern equipment and training. Apart from not having modern tools, power outages also hinder our productivity. I can tell you that we are good at what we are doing, but we are still using traditional methods that are slow and require a lot of manual effort. With modern machines, we can produce more and the quality of our work will improve. But these tools are expensive and we cannot afford them, so the government has to come in. Despite their challenges, Gombe blacksmiths remain determined to preserve their craft, believing that with the right government intervention, they can transform their trade into a thriving industry that contributes significantly to the state's economy. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
In the business scene, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited has clarified that the newly activated 60,000 barrels per day old Port Harcourt is currently working at 90% capacity and not 70% as stated by the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petro1. Petro1 had on Thursday said the refinery is currently operating at 70% of its installed capacity with plans to ramp up to 90%. In a statement titled, "Halt the Rumors, Port Harcourt Old Refinery is up and running, producing byproducts of crude oil," and signed by its spokesperson, Joseph Obele, on Thursday, Petro1 noted that as part of its oversight functions, it has direct access to the plant on the authorization of management. The company was also addressing an allegation by one of the community persons, Timothy Mbere, that the refinery was not worth celebrating as it was merely blending and had pushed out old stock. NNPC called on the public to disregard the claims of the self-acclaimed community person, which it described as obviously born out of sheer mischief and blatant display of ignorance. Away from Nigeria, a crane collapsed as a construction site just outside Thailand's capital on Friday, killing 3 workers and injuring 10 others, the police said. The incident occurred early Friday morning in Samut Sakon, west of Bangkok, when a crane building a flyover collapsed. 3 workers died at the scene and 10 others were injured, with some in critical condition. A team of engineers and police are investigating the cause of the collapse, which authorities suspect was caused by an overloaded grader. Construction accidents are common across Thailand, with business operators often ignoring safety requirements and operating without permits. In March, 7 people were killed when a crane fell during construction work at a factory east of Bangkok. And in sports, Nigeria's armed forces are leading the table with 187 medals as the second African military games come to an end on Saturday, November 30th, 2024. With an outstanding medal total of 40 bronze, 47 silver and 87 gold, Nigeria is clearly in the lead. About 20 African nations have participated in the games, which are being held in Abuja, Nigeria. Third place goes to Kenya with 15 gold medals, followed by Algeria with 42 gold medals. However, countries such as Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, and 5 others are yet to secure any gold medals in the competition. The chairman of the Technical Cost Subcommittee for the Games, Brigadier General Abdurrahman Bello Said, said in a statement that Nigeria's diplomatic relations throughout Africa has been reinforced by hosting the event in Abuja. And with that, we have come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all media platforms and join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentaries. I am Hawa Gambo, wishing you a very joyful day.